Hey everyone, Noel with RPS here. Today I'm going to be demoing an installation of the brand new RPS F200 Solar Fountain. We've recently reimagined these systems, making them stronger than ever and also easier than ever. They come pre-wired with 100 feet of submersible grade pump wire, so you don't have to worry about any waterproof splicing, and the improvements in performance will bring your pond to life. So let's go ahead and get into it. First things first, we're going to want to make sure that we have everything necessary, including our installation manual. This is going to take you step by step through this process, and so I'll be following it throughout this video to help you better understand the installation. Next up, we've got the pump itself. It's a centrifugal style pump, pre-wired into 100 feet of 12 gauge 2+ ground submersible grade pump wire. That's all set to go. We've got our plumbing fittings and spray nozzles in here. We'll have two to pick from that we'll choose a little later. We've got our ground lug kit, which has some PTFE tape and some electrical tape, as well as the materials to ground the system with a copper grounding rod. We've also got our 100 feet of safety rope for anchoring. We've got the pump splice kit. We've got our solar Y connectors and our 20 feet of solar wire. And then of course over here we have the solar panels themselves. We're doing an F200 today, so that'll be two 100 watt panels like you see here. We've got our DC disconnect right here, as well as some MC4 wires that we'll cut and strip later to wire into the pump wire. And then finally, we have our fountain float right here. Those plumbing fittings will thread through, and we'll screw the nozzle on a little later and get everything up and running. There's going to be a few extra tools that you'll want to have on hand to help this installation go smoothly. The first one is going to be a wire crimper. The second one will be a wire stripper. And lastly, some kind of heat gun or blowtorch or even a lighter will work. These three tools are what we use with the splice kit to splice the pump wire into the MC4 connectors. So these are three essential tools to have on hand. We do offer a goof-proof kit. It has all of these tools, so if you didn't have those on hand and you wanted a one-size-fits-all kit to help with the installation, you can always order one of those and you'll get all of the necessary tools to take care of any splicing. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and open up this pump wire. This is where if you needed more than 100 feet to get from the shore out to the center of the pond, you could splice more submersible grade pump wire here with a waterproof splice. That would be 12 gauge 2+ ground. Generally 100 feet is gonna be more than enough to get out to the center of the pond. We certainly won't need any more than that today. So we can go ahead and continue here. And what we'll wanna do next is grab our safety rope right here, and we're going to want to go ahead and thread that through the eyelet on the pump like so. Quick knot here. All right, not the best at tying knots, but that'll suffice for the demonstration. And now we have the ability at the end of this install to attach this rope to an anchor so that we can hold the fountain in place. All right, so next we're going to do the fountain float assembly. We'll need our plumbing pieces here, the threaded nipple, some reducers, and our choice of fountain head. You have one that's a little bit more of a general spray, one that has more of a high column. I think this one's a little more interesting, so I'm gonna choose this one, but again, up to personal preference there. We should expect to see about 15 gallons per minute circulating with this pump, and this water feature is gonna look great while helping to circulate water and also oxygenate the water. So we're also gonna need in here, inside of the ground lug kit, we have some tape. We're gonna need that for our threadings here. All right, so I've grabbed our reducers here, grab this PTFE tape. And the reason we do this is because we want to make sure there's a nice waterproof seal to keep the system pressurized and keep that flow going strong. And this just creates a nice tight seal to ensure that that happens. So we've got this on there. We go reducer to reducer. I'll go ahead and thread that on. Add some PTFE tape. Should be good. Another useful tool to have on hand is a wrench, just so that you can really crank down these connections. Go ahead, thread this on like so. Make sure that everything is nice and tight. And then from here, we'll go ahead and grab our fountain float, place it right over the top. Take a little bit more of this PTFE tape and just finish up wrapping this threaded nipple just like so. So we've gone from reducer pump to reducer to reducer to double threaded nipple, and now finally we go out to the fountain outlet. Go ahead and screw this on. We'll go ahead and tighten this as best we can. All right, and so now we have the basic assembly of the fountain. And here we are at the site of the install. We've got our two 100-watt panels right here. They're actually conveniently set up on one of our RPS top of pole mounts. This is something that comes separately from the F200 kit, but it makes for a great, convenient installation. If you're not sure how you're gonna mount your panels, all you're gonna need is a Schedule 40 steel pipe and some cement to anchor it in. And then the RPS top of pole kit will have the rails and the necessary fittings and everything to make the installation easy. The great thing about the top of pole mount is that it is also adjustable. You can change the angle depending on the season or the location to make sure that you're capturing the most sun that you can be. As far as our install goes, now that this is set up and ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and wire these panels together. And then we're also going to crack open this 20 feet of solar wire so that we can run from the panels to our DC disconnect. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and open this up. All right, so we've got our solar wire right here. All right, so we're going to want to wire these panels in series. So we'll take a female connector from one panel and a male connector from the other. And we're going to go ahead and pop these together until you hear a click. You know these are good. All right, so this 20 feet of solar wire is comprised of two MC4 cables. You're going to want to match up one male and one female, and then run the opposite lengths away. And that's going to let us wire this all in series. And then we'll go ahead and at the array here, match the female to the male coming off the panels. Again, until you hear that click, and then we'll go male into female off the panels. And now we are all ready to go and run these wires down to the DC disconnect. All right, so I've got my wire cutters here, and I've got that MC4 cable that was with the DC disconnect. The kit comes with two of these. You're only gonna need one. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this in half so that we now have one male and one female MC4 outlet. The next step here is gonna be to strip the ends of these so that we can complete the splicing. All right, so I've got the male MC4 cable right here. We're gonna go ahead roughly 3/8 of an inch back and strip the wire jacket off of this so that we can complete the splice. So I'm gonna go ahead here and carefully try to remove that outer jacket so that we now have an exposed wire to work with, and we'll splice that right into our pump wire. All right, so we've exposed the wires here to complete our splicing. I just wanted to add that if you were interested in a more in-depth coverage of how to splice and how pump splices work, we do have videos dedicated just to that topic. So feel free to check out the YouTube channel and tune into some of those videos if you want a little bit more in-depth of an explanation. All right, so we have our pump wire here. We have a brown wire, a blue wire, and a green wire. The brown wire is going to wire into the female MC4 connector. The blue wire is going to go to the male MC4 connector, and then this green wire is actually going to be our ground, which I will show you later with a grounding rod. So first things first, we're going to want to strip back this wire jacket, again about 3/8 of an inch to make room for that splice to happen. And our ground will take a little bit extra off to make it easier. Ground with that copper rod. All right, now we've got our 3 wires here exposed and ready for splicing. All right, so we have our pump splice kit. So in that splice kit, we have our outer heat shrink jacket that's going to help keep everything waterproof and go over the entire length of the splice. Then we've got the smaller heat shrink jacket that will go from wire to wire, also helping to make sure that everything is waterproof. And then finally, we've got our butt crimps, which will go directly wire to wire and help us clamp everything down so that everything runs smoothly. All right, so when we're splicing here, we want to put the outermost layer on first. That's going to be this outer jacket here. We'll run it over our pump wire and all the way down here. So that's secure on there. We're also going to want to take the next jacket, and we'll put that over our MC4 cable and pull that all the way down until everything is exposed, and repeat on the other one. So we've got our two MC4s ready to go. Now, if you remember from before, the brown wire will go to the female MC4 outlet, the blue wire will go to the male, and that green and yellow wire will go to our ground. So I'm going to grab our female MC4 right here, grab one of our butt crimps and put that right here, and then we will add the MC4 right in here. So we'll grab our wire crimp, put it in place. All right, now we will move on to our blue wire, the butt crimp to the MC4 male. All right, we'll go ahead and crimp this down. All right, so we have our two MC4s connected here. Now we're gonna slide that jacket down over the crimp. It's important to make sure before you move on to this step of sliding the jacket down that you have a good crimp, because you don't want these wires popping out as you try to slide it down. So just go ahead, give them a slight tug to make sure everything is nice and secure. If it is, like in this case, you're good to go ahead and start sliding that casing down. Now we are good. Now that we've got this adhesive shrink tubing properly positioned over the splice, we're gonna go ahead with this torch and just start to apply heat in a smooth, even fashion. You don't want to apply too much in one place at any given time. You'll know when this self-adhesive is complete when you see a little bit of that adhesive itself coming out of each end of the jacket. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up this torch and just start applying some smooth moving heat, being careful to keep it moving all the time. All right, so as you can see here, there's a small amount of adhesive that is starting to leak out of the sides here. That's our indicator that this is properly sealed and adhered, so that'll be a fully waterproof splice. Now we can just move on and repeat that step with the second one, and then in a moment we'll go ahead and do that with the larger outer jacket. All right, and again, we can see that adhesive starting to come out the sides, maybe a little more on this side. I'll just double check. And now we should be pretty good to go with a nice waterproof splice there. All right, so now that we've got these first splices done, I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of this ground wire back very carefully, like so. Once you get it started, you'll be able to just peel it back. So we've got this, and we'll wanna give the ground some room for us to actually go run it to the ground rod later. So we'll go ahead, slide this outer jacket up and over here, pull that ground out of the way, and we'll slide this right back down to cover that splice. So right about here is even coverage. We're gonna go ahead and repeat that same process from before with the heat gun, just on a slightly bigger scale this time. Just start applying that slow, even heat. All right, so we've now got that adhesive coming out of both ends. So we should have a nice seal there, and we should be good to go for the next step. All right, so we've got our DC disconnect right here. We're gonna go ahead and take those MC4 outlets that we just spliced into the pump wire and connect them on the bottom of the DC disconnect to their respective port. So we'll get that female to the male outlet until we get a click. There it is. And then we'll go again with male to female until we get that click, and then we're good to go. And we'll place this right here. And next, what we're gonna wanna do is ground the system. All right, so to ground the system, in our grounding kit, we've got this copper wire right here. We're going to crimp that directly into that exposed ground wire that we stripped earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead, feed this butt crimp in here, and then I'm gonna get that copper wire in the other end, this here like so. And then I'm gonna go ahead and crimp this. Knew that was gonna happen. I go ahead and we will crimp this down. One last crimp here, and we should be good to go. Now from here, for a little extra security, we've included some electrical tape. So just to make sure everything holds in place on this grounding, I'm going to wrap it with some electrical tape like so, and we should be good here. So we've got that connection established here. So we've got the other end of our copper wire here, and we've got our ground clamp on our grounding rod. We're which will be customer supplied. And then go ahead and thread that in, and we'll start tightening this. All right, so now the clamp has been clamped on. We've got the copper wire running in and tightened to make contact with that grounding rod, and that'll run all the way back to the system, and that's just going to help prevent against any damage in the case of something like a lightning strike. So we've got our solar panel wires right here. We've got our DC disconnect, which is running down to the pump and also to the ground rod. We're now ready to plug in the solar array to that DC disconnect. So just like before, we'll go male to female until we get that click, and then female to male again until we get that click. And now everything is wired up. We're ready to get that pump in the water, turn this on, and give it a test. And we are up and running. Beautiful. So the great thing about these fountains is that they run off of the power of the sun. So as long as there's sun hitting those panels, as soon as it comes up in the morning, that pump is gonna start pumping, and you're gonna have a beautiful fountain. Sun goes down, it turns off. No hassle, no logistical problems. The sun comes up, fountain turns on, sun goes down, fountain turns off. It's that simple. So if you'll notice too, as we look up at the sky, we've got some cloud cover. The panels are over there. There's some shade hitting them. So if you're in an area where there is no shade, no overcast, it's just pure sun, you're gonna see an even more impressive spray from this fountain. So now that everything's tested, we know everything's running, you're ready to put the fountain in its final spot. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do, depending on the depth of your pond, is to cut the rope to size and then attach it to an anchor. So if we had a 10-foot pond, you may want about 12 feet of rope down to an anchor. Right here we've got a cinder block. Doesn't need to be anything fancy, and we would just tie that off. So now from here you've got your anchor ready to go. You can bring out the pump to where you want it, ideally in the center of the pond, and then drop it with the anchor. Everything will stay in place and keep your pond shining. With the improvements that we've made to this kit, it really is one of the easiest that we have to install. We got this up and running in just about an hour, and so can you. You'll love the improved flow rate on this pump. It's gonna produce a bigger fountain, a bigger spread, and it's gonna circulate more water to keep your pond healthy and happy. So upgrade your pond this season and keep putting the sun to work with an RPS Solar Fountain. Again, I'm Noel with RPS, also with the help of Brendan, and we both hope you have a fantastic day.